Welcome back to Star Wars Nerds Unite, the Star Wars podcast focused on the new Star Wars canon. We're going to talk about Poe Dameron #1 today. I'm your host, timvanautreve, and joining me as always are Jennifer vanautreve. Welcome, Jennifer.
Hello.
Hello. I'm glad you're here. And with me also, as always...
More always
is Josh, created by Google, Mason.
I existed before Google. I predate Google.
So you invented Google? Is that what you're trying to tell us?
I think Google was inspired by me.
Most likely. Poe Dameron #1 by Charles Soule and Phil Noto, who we will recognize the art from the wonderful Chewbacca miniseries from Marvel Comics. Anybody remember that series? You guys remember
that series.
That
It's different. The art is similar but different.
Yeah, it still has those very flat faces. What do I want to call it? Expressionless.
I thought they had...
I don't think they have a lot of movement in them at all.
They don't have movement, for sure.
Everything's very stiff, but they're very detailed and sort of light watercolorish type coloring.
But less watercolorish than Chewbacca.
Yes, it does have brighter tones to it, which makes sense in that Poe is a lot brighter. He's more, I don't know, he's more like a superhero, I think, than some of the other Star Wars heroes. Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, here to summarize this book for us is Josh.
This is part 1. I don't know how it can be book 1, part 1. Like, I think that's really annoying.
Because they'll break it into different books.
Right. But that's annoying. Why don't they just say part 1, and then when the book comes out, they could say book 1, part 1?
I don't know. Maybe they're just
stupid, saving
on editorial costs later.
Yeah,
they can go straight to the printer.
If somebody's charging more than 10 seconds on that editorial,
Well, they need to consult you, get you in.
I would be more than happy to edit comic books.
How fun would that be? You don't get paid. My understanding is it does not pay well.
I would do it for like I don't know. Like for every comic book that I edit, they have to give me 2.
You would do it for that little?
Yeah. It wouldn't take very long. There'd be lots of red.
Oh my gosh. Yes, of course.
Digital red.
Best editor,
I'm sure it's digital red at this point.
Best editor in comics, Josh.
Hey, if anybody out there
Mason
wants to
hire you,
get their face edited off, let me know.
All right, break this
Joe Caramanga is the letter writer, the drawer of the circles.
Caramagna. Yeah, he's done a bunch. And Charles Soule notably was a lawyer before he broke into comic books.
What notable cases did he have?
I don't know, but he talked about it a lot, how he was a lawyer. I think he did some She-Hulk, and he's done some Daredevil, so he's really after those lawyer characters over in the Marvel Universe.
I don't know how...
She-Hulk is a lawyer?
Yeah. Yeah, she is. He also did Swamp Thing, which was pretty good. Yeah, I like his writing. I mean, in normal stuff.
Swamp Thing a lawyer?
No, but I would hire a giant plant man as my lawyer, wouldn't you?
Probably not, if I wanted to win.
I like how there's 4 editors.
Is there? What?
There's the assistant editor, the executive editor, and the editor-in-chief. Well, there are more editors than creatives on this one.
Just think, you could get rid of all those editors.
Maybe those editors knocked out some of the creators.
Yeah, I don't know.
Just redded them all out until there was only one person left.
That's probably how.
Maybe they
this
accidentally
works.
edited all the creators out of this page. Like there's actually like 6 or 7 other people that worked on it, but they just accidentally edited it out.
They all wanted to get a turn.
So their names are more prominent.
I think Phil Noto inks and colors all his own stuff most of the time, so that would be an example of this. So I think you're wrong.
He's no potential lawyer.
True. Please tell us what is in this comic book that we've not read. When did this come out originally?
I don't know.
Hold on, I can tell you.
Doesn't it tell you on the comic?
It doesn't. I have complained
yes,
about this
it does.
before.
Yes, it does. Hold on, let me
does
bust
not
it open. Yes, it does.
Show me on my digital version.
The digital version, no. June 2016, which means it probably hit the stands in May. So we're only
A few months
It
out.
hit
What,
the
6
stands
months behind?
before it came out.
they put legally, there's some legal thing where this is a periodical technically. So they can't put it on the newsstands after a certain amount of time has passed after the cover date. So this is June. So I think at the end of either the end of June or the end of July, they're required to take it off the newsstands. So they intentionally put a later date on it than it comes out, so it will stay on the newsstands longer. Interesting fact for you comic fans.
I wouldn't call that interesting or factual.
Yeah, it's both of those things.
It's neither.
The fans will back me.
The comic book fans?
So what does the date even supposed to mean?
Oh, I'm certain that some lobbyist got some ridiculous law added to some other, probably a law about like saving the pandas. They put a writer onto it and made up this ridiculous rule.
Oh boy.
So Tim's gonna do some
what
research.
when you look
Yeah,
at
I
that
was
date,
right.
what does June mean? What is June 2016?
Actually, I was wrong. It's 2 months before. So it must be the end of June they have to take it off the stand. So it came out in April.
So that's like the expiration date?
It came out at the beginning of April.
You have to get rid of it by June? It's
Kind
That's-
of. Yeah,
yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Stupid. Absolutely stupid. All right. We can talk about the content of the comic book
like
now that
where
we've...
do they pull these? Like they're on
Nowhere?
the comic
The
books,
two newsstands that it sells at?
Yeah, like where would this be outside, like just on a stand, like with the newspapers?
In front of Marvel's headquarters.
No,
Because comic shops have them forever.
right, but it's kind of a carryover from the olden days, and they do still sell comics on the newsstands, like in bigger ones, like in subways and New York streets, that kind of thing.
You've been to a lot of New York streets, and
I just know that's how it is.
He hears about these.
I know things about the comic
You saw it
industry
in a
because
movie?
I've read Wizard magazine.
The trade rags of comic books.
Yeah. Wizard magazine does not exist anymore, but it did. It taught me a lot of things.
And when did it cease existing?
2000.
Yeah, exactly.
so there might not
So
be any
probably
comics left in
10
New
plus
York.
years ago. Right, there's not. These are sold in comic book stores exclusively.
No.
And then they're used for like filler in walls in houses in Ukraine.
I think there's also some sort of clause where they have to put that stuff in to be considered newsstands, so that you don't have to charge tax on new comics because they're periodicals, and you don't have to charge tax on periodicals. So I think that has something to do with it too. Why they keep
So
doing
they're
it.
trying to take advantage of a loophole. Is what you're trying to say.
I don't know. All I know
I thought
is
you were a
like it.
business insider here. I read Wizard magazine when I was in high school. I know everything about the comic industry.
So the fans want to know how my finger is. They don't want to know about
The
Poe Dameron.
fans or a fan? Or you?
I had surgery on my finger, my broken finger. I came out okay. My wife got tired of taking care of me. Or did you? Honey?
Yes, I did.
Oh, okay.
I had to drive you around for a week. All you did was sleep unless you asked me to take you somewhere. And then as soon as we got there, you didn't feel good anymore, and I had to immediately stop what I was doing and take you back home.
Unless I was at work, I had other people take me home.
Yeah, you just made sure that it interrupted my day, so I drove you there. And then as soon as I dropped you off, you asked somebody else to
Hey,
take
the
you
first
home.
day I thought I could do it, but I couldn't. Second day I just left early. I kind of planned that. All I know is
I'm
it
glad
hurt.
you feel better.
And the doctor said I could have just a splint instead of a hard cast, so I'm really nervous about my finger, but it feels pretty good.
I thought you weren't supposed to be moving it.
I'm not supposed to hit it or use it. I can move it like this because that doesn't do anything with the ligament. But if I tried to took it out of the thing and tried to actually bend it like this, it could pop out. The anchor would come out of the bone.
Nice.
After about a week, it's not popping out.
Maybe.
No, maybe about it.
All right,
I'll
Kinky
get it.
Pinky. Why don't you tell me what this comic book's about?
It's about Poe Dameron. Shall we move on to feedback?
Sure.
Just ask me. No. It starts off on a planet. We don't know what, but a planet. So I'm going to call it a planet. And Poe is flying an X-Wing. His black X-Wing. And he goes through a cave and he has to do some maneuvering and some funny banter between him and BB-8. Then the story goes to a flashback on Dakar, which is the planet in The Force Awakens that the Resistance is on. And Leia is giving Poe this mission that we find out he's on to go find Lor San Tekka, because this kind of ties a whole bunch of stuff together. She has this data pad that they acquired in the book Before the Awakening, I believe. Like, that's the book they got from that senator when they stole his ship. Remember in Before the Awakening, they stole the guy's ship? And so they got a bunch of information that he about the First Order from this guy.
Yeah, I do vaguely.
Before it got to Snoke. And so Leia's like, oh, we got all this information before it got to Snoke.
Oh, good tie-in.
That you got on these missions. And it says they're looking for Luke, which is bad news bears for some reason. So we need to find Luke. So go find Lor San Tekka. We think he's on this planet, a planet.
And this is the guy from The Force Awakens.
Who's the guy? Poe?
No, the old man.
Yeah.
Lor San Tekka.
Yeah,
He's the
from the
guy
first
from the
scene in
beginning that
yeah.
hands him the
map.
the map to Luke.
Yeah, correct. And so Poe gets to form his own little hotshot squad.
Black
to go help
Squadron.
him. Black Squadron. Way to really take the steam out of my build-up there.
What?
So he,
You were really
take the
building it
steam
up
out?
soon.
so he picked some people. You probably remember Kare Kun. She was in the book.
I don't remember. Her.
Snap is from everywhere. From Life Debt.
Wexley.
From the Aftermath novel, from the movie, from Heroes. And then
He looks different in this comic. It doesn't look like him.
no, it doesn't look like him at all.
Well, it does
Poe
look like
looks
a
exactly
slightly
like
larger
himself.
man with a giant beard.
Yeah, but
It doesn't look like the actor who
no.
played him. Like Poe looks exactly like the
Oscar
actor.
Isaacs,
Yeah.
There's probably some tracing going on there.
maybe. And then there's Leulo, who we know from the Shattered Empire, among other things, and some other people.
Jess Pava and Adimuva. Adimuva.
No,
Yeah.
you're not going to get that.
Well, Elo Nasty. They're the same
Elo
race.
Atsy.
Elo Asti.
Yeah.
Yeah, isn't that what I said?
No, you said nasty.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, he was a pilot, but this guy must
He's
be
ground crew.
his bro. Right, but he's a aspiring pilot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who those two are.
They're nobody.
They've
All right.
never introduced them before.
Yeah, but
No,
he has
right here.
he has a Beastie Boys name. A Beastie
Tim
Boys.
wants him to have a Beastie Boys.
He
name.
does.
No,
It's
he doesn't.
Adi. All right, I'm gonna Google it. I'm Googling it.
I'm glad you
Keep
are.
going with your synopsis.
So then it flashes forward to his mission on a planet, and he finds this weird chamber that has a blue egg in it that's hanging from the ceiling. And he calls out to Black Squadron. He's like, hey, I found this weird room. Why don't you guys chill out up there? There's nowhere for you to land. And then he is accosted by these people that have blue eggs painted on their faces. And they talk about how Lor San Tekka was there, and he spent 2 seasons with them learning their ways. And
They
think
call him the Explorer.
Yeah, they think the blue egg is the savior of the galaxy. And eventually BB-8 discovers that his ship was bugged, and the First Order has come. Because I guess the First Order knew he was looking for Lor San Tekka somehow. We'll find out. But there's a detachment of Imperials, First Order folk. There's like 8 TIE fighters and some troop transports on this like aircraft carrier thing. And there's stormtroopers with jetpacks. I'm not going to talk about the remaining pages of the comic book because I thought it was stupid.
Starting with what? Oh, this
the
part?
BB-8 mini comic.
Oh, that's not a real thing.
Well, I mean, it's literally a real thing. You're looking at it right
But
now.
it's not part of this story.
No, it's a separate story starring BB-8 by Chris Eliopoulos.
I didn't even read it.
Eliopoulos.
I didn't even turn past the first page.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
He's a cartoonist. You remember that cowboy hardcover that I bought?
Yes.
When I first started dating you?
Yes.
And I thought no one would like it.
Yes.
But I was wrong because he doesn't actually read things. He just reads about things.
Are you going somewhere with this?
Yeah, that's the same creator. He did that. Cowboy, which is actually a really nice story.
Yeah, I didn't read it, so.
Well, this mini is not great. It's pretty
Oh,
lame.
you're talking about Cowboy is pretty great?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So anyways,
I have some information on Adi Muva, if you'd like it.
I'd love to hear it.
So the Abe Donetto.
Abdenito is the way I always...
Okay. All right. That may be how they pronounce it. But all three of these things, Elo Asti, Adi Muva, and how do you pronounce it? Abdenito.
Abdenito.
Those are all Beastie Boys references. One references Hello Nasty, obviously.
You didn't say the third one.
I did.
You're just the race.
The name of the
Abdenito.
race is Abe
Abdenito.
Donetto. He's a character from Paul Revere.
Oh.
And Adi Muva is from Body Movin'.
There you go. Some person on Wikipedia said that without a source.
It's legit. It's legit.
So that's what happened. It's explaining the Black Squadron formation and why he's looking at this weird blue egg.
But yeah, and the New Order's there. And they've got a sweet...
The First Order.
First Order, yeah.
You
Sorry.
said the New Order.
Oh, I'm thinking of wrestling. New World Order. They have a helicarrier,
I already said that.
but it's cool.
Yeah, I said it was cool.
You didn't talk about it enough.
I did.
Don't repeat words I've already said.
No.
I said it was cool.
I talked specifically about how they had an aircraft carrier and it was neat.
You know, I didn't notice that they were eggs on their heads. I should have. That was stupid.
You didn't notice that big blue thing on that chick's head?
I didn't. I just kind of look past pictures sometimes because it all blends together.
There's
I just
only
thought that
like,
was like part
40
of their
pictures
race.
with blue eggs on their heads.
Yeah, but I didn't. I still am looking at it, and I can say that I would not have noticed it.
This little group of people down in this underground egg chamber, they're like a cult. They're obsessed with taking care of this egg. They don't care what happens anywhere because they think that they're the protectors of this egg, and this egg is going to hatch out their savior who's going to protect them, specifically them, because they've cared for this egg all this time.
I think that Poe's personality comes out a lot in this. Like when he sees Black Squadron and they're all standing there, and he's like, "Look at you guys, looking good, looking tough."
Yeah.
I thought that was a really good dialogue, and the way that they emphasize tough in the word balloon, it really exemplified his personality. And
I think that there's multiple parts in the story where that is true.
Yeah.
They captured him well. Yeah,
I think he really jumps out of the page quite a bit. Snap is just another character.
Yeah, I mean...
they do mention the Battle of Jakku. They're talking about how he was the Battle of Jakku, and he's like, I was like 16 at Jakku.
Yeah, we know that. Because Lulo says, I was at Endor, I should get more respect.
Right.
I was there with Leia. And so Lulo and Snap are the old-timers now. Even though we know Snap is the annoying 15-year-old who does nothing but whine.
How old do you think he is here? Late 30s?
Well, the story is 30 years after Endor, this story. And we know he was 15, 16 at Endor, so he's 45.
No way.
Yeah.
No way he's that old. How do you know it's 30 years?
There's a beginning in the book, there's a scrawling yellow text on a black space field.
Oh, wow. 30 years have passed since the defeat of the evil Galactic Empire. Huh. There we have it.
He's very intuitive.
Shut up. What'd you think of that X-Wing scene where he's flying through this cavern and it's super treacherous and really small?
I don't know.
I didn't think anything except get to it. What's the point here?
Yeah.
I didn't like when he's just talking to BB-8. Like, I thought that part was getting kind of annoying. It reminded me of the comic of, I think it was Chewie. Isn't that the one where the girl kept talking and he had, there was no dialogue. That was kind of annoying me for a second. And then as soon as he started talking to actual people and he was being funny, and then it was fine. But if it was just him and BB-8, I would not want to read anymore.
I thought that the perspective on the drawing of him trying to fly into that door that was closing was a bold choice for the artist. Seems like it kept moving the distance that the X-Wing was, or at least the camera angle was moving so much that you couldn't tell very well how wide the door was. I think that was like an effort to build suspense, but it didn't for me. All I was thinking was, why don't you just move your X-Wing on its side and go through the door?
And he does.
He does, but he does it last minute. They even do a cutaway.
Yeah, it says scream. That's the sound effect, which I don't know what that is.
It's the sound effect of moving through a door.
I guess.
I don't have a lot to say about this book. It's definitely setting up a story. Not a lot happens. They did a good job of characterizing Poe. Some
of the
visuals are cool. And they charge an extra $1 for this issue.
Because it's like the jumbo book?
Because it had more.
The extra one in the back.
Yeah,
Yep.
we paid an extra $1 for that mini story in the back.
Mini story.
And you guys didn't even read it.
I read it twice.
It's kind of garbage, right?
It's not good.
I mean, it has
That's why I don't want to talk about
Why'd you
it.
It has
read
nothing
it
to do with
twice,
Star
then?
Wars.
Because I read it when I got it.
Oh.
And then I read it earlier tonight when
I didn't even read one word.
It's cool. I mean, I like the art. The art kind of reminds me
I
of...
only like the art of BB-8. The other art is like a Sunday...
Yeah, it looks like Calvin and Hobbes.
Right.
Jinx.
So BB-8 is driven. He's drawn.
Druin.
Druid.
He's drawn realistic. And all the rest of the world is drawn realistic, but the characters are drawn like Calvin and Hobbes.
And that's fine.
I don't like that.
There's nothing wrong with the cartoons.
If you're gonna make the people look like cartoons, make everything look like cartoons.
But it does.
It doesn't. Look at BB-8.
I am. He looks like a cartoon
No,
droid.
he doesn't. He looks like BB-8. The only thing that's slightly cartoony is his antenna. Or antennae, because he has multiple.
Okay. I respect your difference. How about when his head pops off and it like moves off of the ball? That's pretty cartoony.
Eh. On the whole, because there's so much detail on him, he's drawn very literally. Like look at all these little dents and there's scratches and all that stuff.
Yeah, that's just part of BB-8. If you had him
If you want to draw him cartoony, you wouldn't have all that crap. You'd have two of them.
Are you an artist? How come you're not an artist?
Why? Look at this guy's hand, right? Right here. There's a whole frame of his hand. There's one thing showing texture.
That's his knuckle.
Right. That's a cartoony style.
So
when you see BB-8 like this, and there's 457 different little things showing features.
You're so picky about weird stuff.
It's like an anachronism.
Okay. All right.
But obviously not lost in the wrong time period. Yeah, they focused, which is fine, but make everything look the same. It's like if your kid drew really crappy pictures and then used really, really high fidelity backgrounds and then like tried to make a book out of it. Like they were really good at drawing backgrounds.
What a stupid kid.
And really terrible at drawing people. That's what this is.
That kid sounds like an idiot.
Exactly. Focus on what you're good at.
Oh boy.
This guy's good at drawing mustachioed angry Nazis who can't find the coffee can.
Or mustachioed
That's him
cowboys.
in a nutshell.
Yeah.
That's all he's good at.
Bandits.
Where's my coffee can? And then hijinks ensue. That's what this guy would be good at.
Okay, so Poe Dameron #1. It's an ongoing series. Like a million issues have come out since we
How many?
should have reviewed
Like,
it.
is this a long? It's not like a short mini
Yeah,
thing?
it's an ongoing. It's
What?
6 issues, 7
Oh
issues.
my gosh.
So
Yeah.
one block. They finished book 1, maybe.
Yeah, we're behind on a lot of stuff. I think we're gonna be pumping some episodes on issues.
Okay.
I'm excited. Jenny's ready to move on because we have a million pieces of fan feedback. She's like, I am only recording for an hour. I don't want to do an hour and a half feedback episode. So we talked about Poe. We need to rate it. Jennifer, go.
Yeah. I don't know. 6.5.
That's pretty high.
Really? I don't know. it was okay. I wasn't like blown away, but it wasn't awful.
Josh, go.
You have to go first so that I don't influence you.
Oh, you won't. Okay.
We're
right.
so highly influenced
So
by you.
I'm going 6. So I liked the story. It wasn't great. The first time I read it, I would have given it like a 3. But I reread it when I was in a good mood, which actually affects
You've
my...
never given anything
scores.
that low.
I have.
What?
Chewbacca and Leia got really low scores.
You gave Chewbacca way higher than that.
No, I
Yes,
challenged
Then
you
a
that.
did.
3? Or
Yeah.
then a
Challenge
6? He
Yeah,
didn't
way
give
higher
this a
than
3. He gave
okay,
this a 6.
I'm saying
Yeah.
you gave Chewbacca way higher than a 3.
Yeah.
And that's the worst comic
Yeah,
I've
I'm
ever
sure I was in a
read.
bad mood when I read it the first time.
Oh.
And now I was in a good mood this time, and it got a 6. So there it is.
I'm vacillating between 5.5 and 6.
Just give it 1.
So you're letting Tim's score affect you.
No, I
You
was
should've- you
vacillating
should've-
beforehand.
Written your score down and hidden it.
I guess that's what
before.
we'll have to do from now on.
I'll give it like 5 3/4.
Okay.
The only redeeming quality of it is the characterization of Poe.
Yeah, that was. Well, I liked
part
how
of
they
it-
tied a few things together.
I think if I would not have read the subsequent books, it would be higher. But I just my impression of this book has been soiled by
What if you
forthcoming
had?
books.
What if you had only read Chewbacca, Leia, and C-3PO?
That's I
What would this be then?
probably would only bump up to a 6.
Oh,
Okay.
My scores are not in reference to other things.
you
It's,
just said it
he's
was.
pure.
You
it's
just
in
said
reference to perfection.
He's pure. Josh's scores system is purity at its finest.
Then why did the other comics that you've already read make this one lower? You said if you
I'm saying
hadn't
the
read.
Poe ones.
Oh, I thought you were
The place
saying.
where this story goes.
I thought you were saying because you
No.
read Kanan and Darth
No, no,
Vader,
no,
this
no.
was worse. That's what I
Nope.
thought.
Because I've read the subsequent Poes.
So this is like a bridge issue to the good ones.
No, it's a bridge issue to not good ones. The story goes nowhere.
Oh,
We have 31 minutes on feedback. You guys ready?
yeah.
We're going to plow through it. We have like 20 emails to read.
Why are you getting your notebook out?
Here we
You
go.
gonna do math?
This one is from. Hold on. What's the next one? Here. We read this on the deleted scene.
The
that
deleted
actually got
scenes.
deleted, but we're going to reread it here. Hi, SW and you. Love the show. However, there is one part I'm not too fond
This
of.
is from Andrea.
Yeah. It's the nickname, Josh the Tosh. Since you shouldn't complain without coming up with a solution, here's some other nickname ideas for you to try out. Just go with what feels right. Ace Mason, Josh Terruption. Jen might like this best since she's interrupted the most. Hollywood Josh Mason, Chase Basin, Haas Boss. I want to start. What do we think about these nicknames?
They're bad.
I like Hollywood Josh Mason. I
I'm
think
not
that one makes
Hollywood at
sense.
all, though.
I like Josh Terruption. Jenny should. Don't you like it?
It's okay.
What's your favorite?
None of those.
Mace the Ace?
No.
It would be Ace. I don't know.
Chase Basin?
They're all bad.
Well, the last two are bad.
What?
They're all bad.
Josh Terruption probably is the only one that makes any sense.
I think that's your favorite because she talks about you specifically in this.
No,
sentence.
because none of the other ones have any context.
Has she ever met Andrea?
Yeah, I've met her.
No. Have you?
I've met her like 100 times.
I don't know how you've met her 100 times.
She's not been around that much.
I've met her at least 3 or 4 times.
What color's her hair?
Brown.
I don't think you've met her.
Oh my gosh.
What?
It's closer to like black.
Only like Oriental people have truly black hair.
All right. Well, she's kind of South American, so basically the same thing.
Oh my gosh. On a Star Wars note, I feel like I'm missing something big. Why does everyone think that Snoke is ancient? He definitely looks old. We have no idea what kind of alien he is. So how do we know he's, quote, ancient? Couldn't he have just partied too hard, gotten too much sun, and been in a few harsh battles? Not everyone ages gracefully, and being on the dark side doesn't seem to help that even more. Everyone says he's like 1,000 years old, so what am I missing? Thanks for the help, Andrea H. P.S. Seriously, though, about the Jen thing, please stop interrupting her so much. It's frustrating to listen to. Boom. Andrea served you up on a platter.
I served her back.
Did you?
Yeah.
Her hair's more close to black. So there.
Uh,
There were multiple emails that you were not replied all on.
yeah, this is just this one to this one.
Right.
Josh says, do you want to just read your reply?
No, you can read it.
Josh replied in email form, so we'll just read it.
Read it.
I agree the nickname is dumb. I think your solutions are equally not good, though. Frowny face. Regarding Snoke's age, in the novelization of The Force Awakens, Snoke says he witnessed the rise and fall of the Galactic Empire. Serkis insinuated in a few interviews that he is pretty old as well. I don't know if you have read Life Dead or not yet, or listened to our episode about it. Hint, hint. Good cross promo.
Yeah.
There is a character in the book who, quote, could be Snoke, maybe. Who are you referring to?
Well, I was referring to Rax.
But you definitively said
I did.
that anybody who
He's
thought
not.
that was an idiot.
You're right.
You're
Okay.
just trying to set her up
That's
for
right.
failure. Just so
right.
you can say,
You're an idiot.
did you think that was him? 'Cause you're
She's gonna come to the
stupid."
barbecue on Sunday and she'd be like, "You guys heard the theory about Rax
She's
being
gonna try to
Snoke?"
tell everybody.
And we're
She's
just gonna
spread.
slam her down to the ground.
Good one. I try not to interrupt. I really do. It's just so hard when she is so wrong about so many things! Exclamation point. So that one was in Jennifer's face. Thoughts?
Yeah.
Any? All right, here we go. Rob Finn
Dyson.
Dyson. He says, what would be the best way to keep your Star Destroyer sparkling white in the depth of space? I have an image of a bunch of Imperial crewmen in environmental suits with pressure washers and paint rollers like I saw when aboard naval ships, but I know that wouldn't really work in space. Would it not?
No.
Yeah,
Are you
we
sure?
talked about this.
Yeah, in the
We don't
deleted
think
scenes.
it would get dirty in space.
He thinks that.
There's
I'm thinking about specifically the paint. Why wouldn't the paint go on?
Why would there be paint? Let's start with that. Let's have a metaphysical question of why would there be paint?
Why does Caterpillar paint all their tractors yellow?
Because they don't want the iron to rust. That's the number one reason we put paint on stuff, is so that it doesn't rust.
Fair enough. So
All right.
what, can it rust in space?
And then we
Can it
talked about
oxidize?
we
It
talked
cannot
about those-
oxidize in the absence of oxygen.
We talked about
Plus-
why would they have people out there?
When there's droids.
Yeah, we
That'd
would
just
have
be
like
Roombas.
little Zumbas, even if it did get dirty. Those.
Zubas.
Yes, robots that jazzercise while
Oh my
cleaning the
God!
hull.
This is the exact same conversation.
Roombas.
I said the exact same dumb word. Roombas, the vacuum cleaning robot, but they would be cleaning the outside of the ships in space.
I elaborated. The only way it would ever get dirty is when it would re-enter.
Yeah, yeah.
And
But
then
it
they
would get
could
so
clean
hot it would just burn all the crud off.
Yeah, when it came back up. That's a good point.
No, it would only get hot when it goes down.
Really?
Yeah.
It doesn't get hot when it goes up?
Not
What's all
unless
that-
they can go absurdly fast.
What's all the flamey stuff when a
The
rocket goes
flamey
up?
stuff?
Yeah, when a rocket's going up on
That's
the
not
top.
flames, kid.
Oh, jeez. Idiot.
That is vapor. That's moisture.
Okay. All right, I feel smarter now.
Okay.
Moving on. Hopefully your question was answered accurately. They're just white because they're white.
Why not?
Lady Meg took a bunch of pictures of... She went to Worldcon in Kansas City. Hashtag Nerd Squadron on site. Hashtags in email. Or hashtags in email. Very good. She took a bunch of pics of old Star Wars toys.
Really old Star Wars toys.
Yes, and they look super cool, especially that episode 1. What would you call that? A mosaic?
Yeah.
Like with all the different boxes. I like that the best.
I don't know that I like that the best.
Thanks for sending that in, Lady Mag. Next up, we have a good one from Jesus Gonzalez, creator of our logo, and he finally has his website up. So that'll be linked in the show notes. He says, "Hello, SWNU. Yeah, over a couple of beers and a Twitter trolling. Not really. I saw the light, and yeah, I like SWNU better." He means than SNU, which he was trying to do before. I can be wrong sometimes. This episode was a weird one for me because I always hear you guys' synopsis and then I read the comic or book. Yeah, I don't mind the spoilers, and when I read the comic or book, it helps me keep track of the story because as I read, I remember what you guys said. But I read Bloodline a couple weeks ago, so it felt weird. Couple of thoughts on the book. I did feel a sexual tension between Ransom Casterfo and Leia.
And so that's something that both Tim and I also agreed on. And Jen's like, what?
You guys are stupid.
I don't agree on
They
that
clearly
at
just
all.
sewed clothes together. There was nothing at all remotely
Slightly
sexual.
strange.
I think they started out not liking each other, and then they grew to respect each other. I don't think there is any kind
There's
of
lots of tension.
like attraction physically
Well,
at all.
Jesus, designer of our logo, agrees with us.
Fellow man.
He says, and
Maybe it's all because you have a thing for Leia, but she did not have
What?
a
Why would
physical-
that have anything to do with it?
Wouldn't that make us jealous?
Because you're
Because Ransom's getting her.
projecting. I don't know.
None of us are as cool as Ransom
Yeah,
Casterfo.
I'm not as cool as him. I don't know.
Obviously, that's why you're living vicariously and wishing that he
Oh
and
my
Leia had something going on
Okay.
when they didn't.
He continues, and I thought that he was going to be the reason that Han and Leia were not together in The Force Awakens.
He's like 30 years younger than her.
So what?
It's disgusting.
It's only disgusting to you.
Yeah, that's Cougar Town.
So I was right.
What?
About what?
Whatever. You should be happy because you're gonna be older someday. I really
What?
thought she was going to cheat on Han, which would give her character a little bit more interesting, more real. But I was also relieved that didn't happen. Frankly, me too. Although the way Casterfo turned on Leia seemed rushed. I agree with that. Lady Carice Syndian's character is a very specific and real bad guy. Specific because I know that person in real life, several even. Ooh, sorry, buddy. Very believable bad guy. Loved how petty and evil she was. As always, loved the episode.
Yeah,
Thanks, man.
she was a good villain.
Yeah, I'm sorry you know people like that. Next up is a new listener, Stockton. He says, "Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I love the show. It helps 8-hour shifts fly by, smiley face. I've never read a single comic book, but I've really enjoyed listening to you three discuss Star Wars. Also, I was wondering if Josh was the host of another podcast. I'd love to listen to it. Thanks for taking the time to read this. I'm looking forward to the next podcast." Smiley face. Josh, are you a host of another podcast?
No, I'm not.
The internet can't take another Josh Mason podcast, is what I think.
Critical mass.
Yeah,
All the internets would
just
overflow.
turn off.
Yeah.
I have another podcast called Comic Nerds Unite, if you're interested in that.
He's not.
He's yeah. I checked that one out already.
Yeah, he's like,
I
I'm
was
done with that. I know.
looking for Josh.
Yeah, there was a slew of emails in this area where it was like, man, no one even talks to me. Everybody's just trying to talk to Jen and Mason.
Rightfully so.
Here we go.
Yeah, and then you pointed that out, and then somebody gave you a pity email.
They did. Let me get to that one moment. Coxtimus Prime says, "Love the facelift to the podcast, cool logo, and really dig the pink." That was from Coxtimus. Thanks, buddy. I like it too. Rob Findus Finn
Fine.
Dyson. Man, why is that stop?
Finn
It doesn't roll
Dyson.
off my tongue right. Finn Dyson.
Shark fin. Die.
VOD. Dear SWNU says, "I also use Podcast Addict to listen to all my podcasts and is how I found your show. To my knowledge, there is no rating system on that platform, though I will endeavor to rate you on the systems that facilitates it. The star feature just adds a particular episode to your favorites list and is not public. It is just a way to mark podcast episodes that you may want to re-listen to at a future date. I believe the tropical planet from Rogue One, a Star Wars story, is called Scarif.
Yeah,
Please keep up the good work.
it is.
Because we didn't know what it was called. You were like, it doesn't have a name.
No, I said I don't remember it.
Oh.
That's what it is.
I don't remember.
That's what
it's
it
probably
is.
something
That's
dumb.
what it's rumored to be.
That reminds me that we have iTunes reviews. I'm going to take a break from
New
letters.
iTunes reviews.
We have 2 new iTunes reviews.
He
this.
looks at this every morning, so he knows when it changes.
Quiet. Oops. Oh, God.
It auto-played.
That wasn't supposed to happen. Sorry. Here we go. View full description.
This is really convoluted to get to reviews.
That's because I don't know where I'm going.
Well, good timing.
Thanks.
I'm working it out right now.
Why are you giving me flack here? Star Wars Nerds Unite. Reviews. Most recent. Here we go.
13 steps later.
Yep.
Here we go.
We have one from Salisbury Chef. He says, great podcast. Actually, we have 3 new. He says, I love how down-to-earth this podcast is compared to other Star Wars podcasts. It's very casual and a lot of them are hardcore. This one makes it approachable, especially with Jennifer.
Aww.
She's the true star of the show.
Why don't you read these to me?
The feedback episodes of this podcast are the best. So that one was in your face.
They like your feedback.
What do you mean in my face?
Because you were like, I don't want to do feedback.
I don't like feedback episodes.
I didn't say I don't like them. I just said we can't.
I don't have anything to talk about.
What?
Here we go. We have This Is Matt Chu. He says, it's like Star Wars with friends. He said a 5-star. He says, the thing that I love about this podcast is it really is like listening to your friends talk Star Wars. The hosts are all fun and down to earth, and they don't claim to be experts on Star Wars, Josh does.
Especially me.
Which is great because I don't want to listen to know-it-alls.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. He must have missed the one episode. Like, he got the one where...
where you weren't being a know-it-all. And then he says, and by far the best SWNU fan is that Coxtimus Prime guy.
Oh.
He writes the most hilarious and inspiring emails that always get read. I'd say listen to just hear his emails. They are a thing of elegant beauty and
Coxtimus,
amazement.
did you write this review?
I doubt it.
That would be hilarious if he wrote that.
I'm sure that he did. Django 2C, he writes something different. I listen to many Star Wars podcasts, and this one is very unique. They really have completely different opinions, and it's nice to see all those point of views. I love how they keep the listeners so involved, and it's nice to see them reach out to us and make us a part of the show. Definitely one of my favorites, actually, he said. I just shortened it because it's cool.
Oh.
Anyway, thanks for the reviews, guys. That seriously does help. If our other Nerd Squadron members, hashtag Nerd Squadron, would please reach out and review, that would also be super mega helpful.
He's only looking at the iTunes reviews. If you've done reviews on Google, I don't know that we've looked at that.
Yeah, I haven't. I haven't looked at Stitcher lately either, so maybe we have some on there. So I'll check that out sometime soon. Here we go. Jesus Gonzalez emails again on episode 81, Rogue One's second trailer and new logo. Woo! Hello, SWNU. It was super cool that on my commute to work, as always, I get on the train, open Spotify, look through my podcast playlist, and see the amazing new SWNU logo. I'm super happy that you guys liked it, and I hope the rest of Nerd Squadron likes it. Pretty unanimous so far, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Second trailer of Rogue One is amazing. I love how it gets more into the mythos of a Jedi and a little bit more on the motivations of joining the rebels of the other characters other than Jin. Most likely there's a time jump from the first trailer's Saw Gerrera and the one we see in the second trailer, so Rogue One may start many years before the movie or could be flashbacks. I say this because the trailer shown at Celebrations was slightly different. And then he has a spoilers maybe disclaimer here. I thought I read somewhere that they refilmed some of Saw Gerrera's stuff so that he had different hair.
I think you made that up.
I think you made that up, yeah.
Okay. So Jesus is right. The trailer I saw starts with a girl on a tropical planet, same as poster, running to a Lambda class shuttle. So maybe it starts with Jen's father being taken away by the Empire and Jen being recruited by Saw to her extremist rebel cell. Then she gets recruited by the rebellion. What do you think about that?
Well,
I think we talked about
the
it. That was probably what
abducted
happened.
theory on our podcast at some point.
Did we? I don't even remember.
Yeah,
that.
we did.
Yeah.
This is exactly what we said probably happened.
Okay, so the footage I saw also has a little bit more of K250.
K2SO.
K2SO.
He may have put 5,
yeah, he put
but
5.
it's S.
And his personality is definitely the R2 type. Alan Tudyk wouldn't have voiced the droid if he wasn't going to be snarky. Also, I'm super excited that it's pronounced K2SO with a Mexican Spanish. And I'll be able to say a Star Wars name with the correct accent. This is huge for me, guys. I want to know what that actually sounds like.
SO.
K2SO?
Just SO.
Whatever, okay.
You don't have to, shake your head. And...
I do. I have to get my salsa hat on. Science Corner question. You ready, Josh?
Sure.
I'm in the mindset of, if I see it, it can happen. So instead of saying that the Star Wars universe ignores physics, maybe it has its own. I think we said it that way too, right?
Yeah. It has its own rules, and they aren't the same rules that we live under.
He continues, like sound and distance in space. Maybe the Star Wars universe doesn't have a vacuum. Could a universe exist where all the planets and stars behave very similar to ours, but there is a substance that can transmit sound and light like inside an atmosphere? Maybe it's a pocket universe that is much smaller than ours.
So he didn't pay attention when we talked about light and sound before.
Did he not? Please,
No.
Why don't you quickly break down?
Light does not need a medium to transfer through. Light is a photon, and it travels on its own. Sound is a transmission from molecule to molecule.
Inquiry is about, do you think a universe could exist where there is space, but space actually has some sort of mass or some matter that can be traveled through?
If you completely write the rules of physics, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, anything's possible.
There it is. Josh acknowledges existence of alternate universe.
It's as a possibility.
In episode 5, Admiral Veers, I think, says that if the Millennium Falcon jumped to light speed, they would be on the other side of the galaxy. And that was just a few hours after they lost the Falcon. Maybe this substance is the force that can move and influence everything in the universe.
Maybe. Doubtful.
Yeah, I don't think they'd go that far, but I like to imagine it. The force flowing through everything.
The force does flow through everything.
As always, awesome podcast. And Tim, you can call me Jesus and not Jesus if you want. I'm cool with that. Thanks. I think I adopted Jesus. I got made fun of enough times that I just ditched it. Sorry, buddy. Only like 500 emails left. Matt Cox. He says, Cox
said
to his
that
pride.
begrudgingly instead of joyously.
You're right, I did. I don't mean that.
Why did you guys
letters.
send us all this feedback?
I love letters so much. You have no idea. All right, here we go. Coximus. He says, Tim, you're of course my fave.
This is the pity email.
Email.
Yeah, Tim was really down about not getting a lot of
not being anyone's favorite.
recognition in our emails.
He says, Jen's the rational eye candy. That's the, quote, every woman. The one most people can relate with because most of us are casual fans. Josh is the informative one who people get facts from, but also listen to because they need someone to be angry at. He's like the bad guy in wrestling that everyone loves to hate. The shoe. Tim and I are word bros for life. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Also, great episode. Super excited for Rogue One. Hashtag Reese's Freezes is the best. Hashtag C3PO hat is not lame. Hashtag word bros. I love hashtags and emails. That's the best. Yeah, I wore my C3PO hat for a little bit the other day.
Where did the frozen Reese's Pieces come from? Did we ever talk about that?
Reese's Freezes is the best. He just made some stuff up.
I'm assuming he's meaning like freezing Reese's peanut butter cups. Like, I can't remember if we talked about it before or not.
I don't think so.
Maybe we talked about it on when we talked about blizzards or something.
I was gonna say,
It
were
might
you
have
guys
been.
talking about Dairy Queen or something?
Probably.
He didn't tell us what his favorite... I think he has told us in the past what his favorite blizzard is.
He also sent an attachment of.
Do you think that he's told us that in the past?
I do think he has.
Well, if you haven't, please tell us what your favorite Blizzard flavor is.
He also attached a picture of Jen's BFF.
Yeah.
Forrest Whitaker.
And what's funny...
on the
I
email.
forgot
It was
about that.
hilarious.
I opened it up and screamed.
Because
I
that's
think.
the last picture that I've gotten, it literally shows up every time I open inbox.
Yeah.
Because I have all the SWNU in one category. And so there's
my
Forrest
God.
Whitaker every time I open inbox.
It's a bad Forrest Whitaker, not the good one with the hair.
Here we have Andrea with a subject line of, "Sorry, Tim." Dear Tim, clearly I've hurt you and I'm sorry for that. Call Josh whatever you want. There's no reason why you should pay attention to my opinion. However, I did have another idea. Instead of a nickname, you could call him Josh, insert funny phrase here, Mason. Here's some different phrase ideas. You'll find Josh, you'll find him under I for internet, Mason. Josh, your next president and dictator, Mason. Josh, created by Google, Mason.
You used that one today.
Yep. Josh, secret love child of Nick Jonas and a robot who just got her emotion chip, Mason.
I don't know where Nick Jonas came from.
Because it's, of course, Nick Jonas.
I don't know why.
Josh still talks to Tupac, Mason.
That's true.
You get the point. Hope you all have a great day. Andrea, I can't do this on my own. You're going to have to start messaging me these so that I can do a new one every episode. And that's just how we'll do it. Kanan 12, during my bunk bed assembly. This is
Adam Strange.
Adam Strange.
original Nerd Squadron inductee, long time not emailing us, Adam Strange. It just hit me. Several episodes back, Jen read that I called the comic shop to complain about the Transformers comic cover disappointment I had. Remember when you had that? And Jen's frustration with that Kanan finale was exactly the way I felt. I do not believe Tim and Josh know what they've done. What they have accomplished with Jen, I'm listening to her just get totally exasperated at the last issue, and I'm lolling. I don't throw that around willy-nilly. I mean it. She gets it. She's now a Johnny
I
comic
want
book.
a video of him
She's
laughing
Jenny comic
out
book.
loud.
Hashtag Jen CB. Love you guys. Hashtag Nerd Squadron. Adam_Strange. I love the hashtags in the emails.
Did
yet
he?
again.
He tweeted about when he was making those bunk beds too. He was.
They're a big deal.
He was re-listening to that episode. He liked it so much.
Probably because you're so funny. You were hot that episode. We got a lot of
I was really mad.
positive feedback on that one.
I was just. Makes me
Hey.
sick.
If you have to be angry to talk more,
Yeah.
be
get
angry more often.
Is that why?
You're talking so
You're
much
here.
tonight.
Why you're always trying to bug me?
Trying to poke the bear.
Gosh. Here's Linda. She says thanks and then gives us a heart. STNU crew. I'm assuming that's a typo unless she is listening to Star Trek Nerds Unite or Star Trek Geeks Converge, our enemy podcast. I wanted to thank you for doing what you do. I recently quit a job that I wasn't a big fan of, and I don't know how I would have gotten through it without you guys to listen to during long days at the office. I'm about to get a lot busier, so it might be harder for me to keep up on Star Wars EU books with you all, but I'm going to have long bus rides to school, and I'm sure you'll keep me company on some of them. Muster on, Linda. Thanks, Linda. That means a lot. You should not stop listening to this podcast, even though you're going to be...
Even if you have a great job and you're all happy now.
Yep. Don't just sad listen to this podcast. Do it when you're happy too.
I can't imagine we're a good sad listen.
Because we're so happy.
Yeah.
It would just be annoying.
Yeah.
Next up, Rob Finn Dyson.
Oh, you got it.
Thank you. Dear SW, it only took 4 times. Dear SWNU, this is for only a couple days ago. Here we go. Another one with me. I have a question for Tim the Time Tyrant. Let's say hypothetically you are now part of the story group and you are put in charge of comic books. What storylines would you like to see pursued? I gave this not as much thought as I should have. But I did think of one in particular that I would like to see. I would like a Han Solo, Luke Skywalker sort of buddy cop. They're flying around, kind of solving mysteries, sort of.
What time frame?
Between Empire, or not between. Obviously,
Yeah.
I know that's dumb, but like
Luke just carries around Han and carbonite.
yeah, like before Empire. That's when I want it. Where they just sort of gallivant around the galaxy. Maybe they're going to
Well, we kind of
different
got
spaceports
that on the Star Wars comic. That's like,
but not
the
just
time
with those two. Not just those two on the Falcon. Nobody
those
else.
two,
Just them.
But
Bros
Chewie's
only.
gonna be there.
But he's not there.
Why is Chewie not there?
Chewie is on
Continuity error. Let's go.
continuity error. Wrong.
Get out the red pen.
Got to retcon everything.
digital red
so they
pen.
go to different planets and they're trying to get different people recruited, or they're trying to get supplies, but they keep running into different issues that they have to solve, like little crime stories, kind of. That's one.
So they're like detectives.
I mean, like they get in situations like Scooby Doo.
I don't know why
So they're just ripping off masks and
anyone would buy
solving
that
crimes.
comic.
They might. Another one would be Boba Fett, right? That's an obvious one. But it's in the, my guess that Boba Fett is alive and well in Aftermath, where he's on Tatooine. And I want to see him as a Tatooine lawman, sort of that old Clint Eastwood style, kind of Western feel.
Your
I'd like to
ideas
see
are
that.
lame.
What about
Are they? Lame?
Obi-Wan?
Oh, yeah. I would like it if they did an Obi-Wan book where they actually showed Obi-Wan do something besides sit on a desert planet and sulk.
Yeah, like where he has, like I thought they were going to go in the comic and they keep showing little
more
pieces of his
adventures.
past.
All your ideas
want to
are
see
lame.
him with a woman.
Well, what's your idea, smart guy?
They should show something with Yoda.
Like what?
Like maybe when Yoda was training as a Padawan.
What about, yeah, I was going to say, what about when he's a kid?
Well, that'd be cool.
I know.
What
That'd be
about,
really
what if they showed him when he was younger and he didn't do like that backwards speak?
cool. He had like normal.
Yes, he
normal
just
speech
like had a
patterns.
normal voice and he just like talked in full sentences that made sense, and then like he like got a concussion or something, and then he started talking
You
backwards.
could even show like when he's like 400 years old and like he goes and does research on Jedi lore and stuff.
Yeah,
There's all kinds
to
of
show him in a
room out
library
there.
doing research. That
No,
would
like
be
going
amazing.
and finding Jedi temples and stuff. Like what
Well,
happened in Rebels. The best episode in Rebels are when they're in Jedi temples.
My fave would be Obi-Wan.
All right. Well, there's some ideas. I hope Marvel Editorial doesn't steal all of them.
Well, they could hire me as an editor
in an effort
first.
to not get red inked out.
Yeah.
Next up, we have Icy Spidey. He says, "What's up, Nerd Squadron? Nerd 6 signing in. I just got done listening to episode 82, and I have to say, Josh, that was an amazing breakdown of the book. I haven't read any of the Aftermath books because of the review you guys gave on the first one, but I feel after listening to the recent episode that I got all the main points of Life Debt, and I'm actually kind of excited for the third one to come out so we can all see why everyone wants to go back to Jakku. Who would want to go to Jakku? Nobody.
Everybody, apparently.
You're welcome. I'm glad that you liked his synopsis. I thought it was super long and very detailed. But yeah, you could totally listen to his razzmatazz and not really need to read the book after
No,
that.
you don't need to read the book.
The one thing I am a little confused about was Snap Wexley's dad. Was he a good guy or a bad guy? Why did he shoot Snaps and stick him in a freezer? And why is he now working with Ray Sloan? Is it a brainwash thing? Does this mean Snap was without a father from that moment on?
It's a brainwash thing. And we suspect, or the way it's elaborated upon is by the end of it, he knows he was brainwashed and he's super angry that he was forced to do what he did. So his goal is to get revenge on Rax because Sloan tells him, hey, I know who did this to you. If you help me out, because she was like dying on this ship,
Yeah.
then we can go get Rax together. So Snap thinks he doesn't have a dad anymore. He thinks his dad's an evil Imperial person.
Right, who's been brainwashed, which he has.
Right.
That was what I meant by Manchurian Candidate. That was like the old movie where he
Sure.
was a soldier or whatever and got back and ended up trying to assassinate people or whatever.
Right. So definitely his dad was brainwashed. while he was in the Matrix prison ship.
Well, you said that it was like they had mind control, but he knew what was going on, but he couldn't stop
Right,
it.
yeah.
So
He
he
stop it.
wasn't like brainwashed into thinking that they were
Yeah, but
great.
it was
He
still- it
was
was
just
still
being
mind controlled.
manipulated, like
Yeah.
mind control, Matt.
Right.
On a side note, Snap Wexley is my least favorite character in Star Wars. Also Josh's. And the
not my
reason
least favorite.
and the reason for this, I have to admit, is kind of dumb. I just hated the character Matt Parkman from Heroes. So now anything Greg Grunberg is in, I just think, oh great, it's this stupid Matt Parkman guy again.
That's exactly how I feel. Not about him.
But about
I like-
Forrest Whitaker.
Yes.
I liked Matt Parkman in the first season of Heroes. Everything after that, he was
He
lame.
was kind of lame. His wife was cheating on him, and he was just like,
Oh well. Was she really mean? Was she angry all
no, he
the
could
time?
read her mind. He found out because he could read her mind, and
Right.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
he was just kind of pathetic. He didn't really do anything that great for being
Man, if
able
I
to
could read people's minds, the things I would do. One Star Wars tidbit that I've been looking forward to for some time now, even before seeing The Force Awakens, was the recovery of Anakin's lightsaber from Bespin. I always wondered how it survived the fall from Cloud City and who found it. So when you guys mentioned that there was a side story with Maz Kanata, and then we possibly might get some new information about this iconic hilt, I was super excited. That's all I got for this week. Keep up the good work. Nerd 6 is signing out.
Maz was never introduced into the movie, right? Until the movie, I mean.
Correct.
Correct.
Yeah.
And probably in Empire's End. My guess is she'll have another side story. Or maybe they'll do a whole book. Who knows?
I see Spidey is obsessed with lightsabers.
Yeah.
And lightsaber hilts.
Yeah.
He really is.
I know.
I don't know if I thought about it a lot when I was a kid. I guess I did kind of, but I just assumed since it was a gas
Gone
planet,
forever.
it just went through the planet essentially because there was no planet.
It wouldn't go through the planet.
It would go
To the middle
down
of-
until it was so dense that it
It would
stopped.
melt.
Oh, because it's so hot.
Right.
Okay. But it's a lightsaber.
It is a lightsaber. That doesn't really mean anything.
All right, we have one more email. I'm going to read it even though we're 2 minutes over an hour. This is from new listener Mike, or maybe he's an old listener, but he just wrote in. He says, love the podcast. Just found it a few months ago. Keep up the great work. Have you played and or reviewed the board game Star Wars Imperial Assault? Great game. It even has the Disney logo on it and makes it relevant to the Disney acquisition materials. Look forward to hearing more. Mike. Yes, we did it on episode 33. We talked about it. And Josh added some flavor to his responses. We're about 9 missions into our very first campaign still because we play every quarter.
Basically.
We usually do 1 to 2 missions depending on how long it
Scenarios.
takes.
They're called
Yeah.
scenarios.
So
We're almost done. We have one scenario
I
left.
played Garkon, the Wookiee. I'm the tank. And who do you play, Josh?
Gideon Argus.
He is...
The Bothan commander guy.
Yeah, he'll like give us extra moves and stuff. So he moves me around and I go whack things. It's pretty great. We make a perfect team, if you will. And then there's some other people on the team, but they don't really matter.
They really don't. And we dominate. I think we've only lost once, and it was because Han Solo got killed by a regular stormtrooper squad
Oh,
in one turn
I was so...
in the most BS
so
dice
bad.
rolls in the history of Imperial Assault.
He rolls so many critical blocks and like those massive hits. I couldn't... Oh, it was infuriating. Anyway, that was our last letter. We're 100% caught up. We're going to need some more. Next time, your letters will not take this long, I promise. So here we are at the end of the episode, number 83 of Star Wars Nerds Unite on Poe Dameron number 1, and then a ton of fan feedback. Fan feedback
we gonna do
explosion
next?
version 2. I think we should dig back in on, we should do Star Wars and maybe a Vader or something like that.
More comics.
That's what I'm talking about.
I know. I
Yeah,
was
more
telling
comics.
everybody else what you're
we
talking about.
We going to do comics.
I'll have to read those. I've been holding off reading them.
Well, it's time
I
to,
haven't read
time
them
to
either.
dig on in. Labor Day's coming up. Hug your neighbors. I don't know what that means.
What?
But Labor Day.
I don't know.
It has
either.
nothing to do with your name.
Email us, letters at starwarsnerdsunite.com. If you want to talk to us during the week, at Star Wars and You on Twitter. Or you can message us on Facebook. Or not necessarily message, but post comments so it's public so other people can chime in.
If there's no letters, I guess we could catch up on Twitter and Facebook next.
Yeah. if there's not enough letters, but I anticipate there being a flood.
Plethora.
A flood of emails. What else? We're on BenView Network. We're on Retro Junkies. We can be found everywhere you find your podcasts, and rate us and review us, please.
We are not on Baidu.
How do you know?
We're not.
How do you know that?
I'm about to go look right now.
All right, do it. We are done with the podcast. What did I forget? Amazon link. Please use our Amazon link to buy your stuff. It really, really helps us. Not just nickel candies, but pay for hosting, which is something we need. And off we go. Thanks for listening. May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with you.
Did you hear that? We're doomed.
This podcast is a part of the BenView Network.
You can find this and other podcasts like it at benviewnetwork.com.